everyone. Today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a little bit of algebra, and then we're going to go on to number combinations, and finally we're going to do percentage increasing and decreasing. Okay, so first of all we're going to start with this type of algebra. I like to call this Stickman Algebra. The questions will say something like, Alex will be X years old in 9 years. How old was he 4 years ago? And it will often tell you to leave X in your answer. So the way to solve these is to put a stickman and some double arrows. Now this is the future and that's the past. So if it says Alex will be X years old, you put the X in the future. Now that's going to be in 9 years. So if we want to get back to Alex now, we've got to take away 9. So we write X take away 9. If we want to know how old he was 4 years ago, you take off another 4, so it's going to be X take away 13. If you wanted to do it the other way, so if it said Maura was X years old 15 years ago, how old will she be in 19 years? It's going to be the other way. But again, you draw stickmen with double arrows. Maura was X years old, so that's in the past. We put an X there. That was 15 years ago, so to get to her now, we write X plus 15. How old will she be in 19 years? Well, we've got to add on another 19, so we're going to get X plus 34. Okay, so that's how you do these basic ones. These are going to be your answers. X minus 13 and X plus 34. They're the things you're going to put in the answer box. And that's what it means when it says leave X in your answer. Now, it can sometimes say something a little bit harder. If we look at this one, it says Reggie and Andrew had a combined age of X years old 5 years ago. What will their combined age be in 4 years? So we draw our stickmen and we put the double arrows again. Now, they had a combined age. Think whether that's going to be in the future or in the past. If they had a combined age, that's going to be in the past. So we put the X there. That was 5 years ago. Now, before, we would have added 5, but this time, Reggie has gained 5 years and Andrew has gained 5 years as well. So you end up with X add on 10. Then it says, what will their combined age be in another 4 years? And again, Reggie has gained 4 years and Andrew has gained 4 years. So we've got to add on 8, giving us X add on 18. And this is the answer that you put in the answer box. Right, let's try the one that goes the other way. It's the same process for all of these questions. You draw your stickman. You think whether it's going to be in the future or in the past, and then you do the steps that we've done before. So Peter and Greta will have a combined age. The X is going to go in the future. They will have that 8 years from now. So to get back to them now, Peter will lose 8 years, but also Greta will lose 8 years. So you're going to be at X take away 16. What was their combined age 16 years ago? So Greta loses 16 years, but also Peter loses 16 years. So we're taking off 32 altogether, leaving us with X take away 48. And these are the answers that you put in your answer box. Right, let's try a random one and see if you can think at home what you might have to do. So let's draw a single stick man. If it said Alice will be X years old, think where you put the X. We put it there. She will be X years old in 10 years' time. So to get back to Alice now, we've got to take away 10 years. X, take away 10. How old was she 9 years ago? We take off another 9, X minus 19, and that goes in the answer box. Let's try combined age one now. Now it could be 3 people, 4 people, they could in theory ask you anything. It's the same process. If there were 4 people, you'd take off 4 lots or add on 4 lots. Right, let's do 2 people again. Okay, Poppy and Peter were X years old 3 years ago. So they were X years old. We put the X there. Now that was 3 years ago. Poppy's gained 3 years, but also Peter's gained 3 years, leaving us with X add on 6. How old will they be, or what will their combined age be in 10 years' time? We add 10 to Poppy, we add 10 to Peter, giving us X plus 26. And that goes in your answer box. Okay, so that's the algebra part for today. Okay, the next thing we're going to try is number combinations. Now, this often comes up in the 11 plus exam. Sometimes it will be quite easy and other times it will be harder. We're going to try some harder ones. So the first one says, using these number cards, 8, 6, 2 and 4, how many 4-digit number combinations are there? Now in theory you could write out all the number combinations, but that would take a lot of time and you don't have much time in the 11 plus. So there's a quick way of doing it. As long as the numbers are all different, you can do 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Which gives you 24 combinations. If, however, we had 5 different number cards, so let's say we had these number cards, 9, 4, 3, 1, 8. Again, they're all different. So this time, to find how many number combinations we could have, how many 5-digit number combinations, we would start with 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Now this is called factorial. You don't need to know that, but you do need to know this process because you would not want to write out all the 5-digit combinations. It would take you a very long time and you'd probably get it wrong because you'd probably miss one, so you need to be very careful. Right, so you would times these together. 5 times 4 is 20, times 3 is 60, times 2 is 120 combinations. Okay, hopefully you can see what we've done there. Now, it can also come up in another way. Now this isn't quite the same, but it's doing things with different combinations. This question says, for lunch, there was a choice of tuna, cheese or Marmite sandwiches. So you could have tuna, cheese or Marmite in your sandwiches. Then it says for dessert, there was a choice of jelly, ice cream or fruit. And for a drink, there was a choice of water or juice. How many different lunch selections are there? Again, you could write out all the combinations, but you don't want to be doing that. The easy way of finding how many combinations there are is you look here, there are 3 choices there, there are 3 choices there, and there are 2 choices there. So you just times those together. 3 times 3 is 9, times 2 is 18. There are 18 different lunch choices. Okay, so So those questions can come up in lots of different ways. It won't necessarily be lunch choices, although they have done that several times before. They can be anything, but if there are different choices, you times those together. Okay. Right. That's the number combinations. We'll do more of those another day. Okay, now we're going to look at percentage increases. Now, a lot of you would have seen how to increase a percentage before, but sometimes they make it a little bit harder by asking you to increase or decrease it, but then do a further increase or decrease. Now, that's a little bit more complicated. Okay, so let's just quickly run over how you increase something by 10% or 20%. So, if you wanted to increase £50 by 10%, you find 10% of £50, which is 5, and then you just add it on, 55. If I wanted to decrease £90 by 10%, I find 10%, but then I take it off because you're decreasing it. So 10% is 9, take it away, makes 81. Okay, so let's just run over a slightly harder one of those. If you wanted to increase £540 by 20%, you find 20% by doing 10% and doubling it, which is £108, and then add it on, which makes £648. Now, if you're not clear on how to do percentages, you can watch the Year 4 video, and that goes through how to do the more basic percentages. Even if you just want to recap it to make sure that you're 100% sure, then that's absolutely fine. Okay, so we're now going to try these harder ones. It says a coat costing £80 was reduced by 20% and then a further 10%. What did the coat cost after the reduction? Now, this is not a reduction of 30%, and that's where a lot of children will go wrong. You have to reduce it by 20% first and then do another 10%. So that's what we're going to do now. So the coat started life at £80. It was reduced by 20%. So 20% of 80 is 16. So we reduce it by 16 first of all, and that gives us £64. Right, now we're reducing it by a further 10%. So what is 10% of 64? It's £6.40. And you're reducing this by £6.40. So you do £64, take away £6.40, okay, and you do the sum straight down. Okay, and that gives you £57.60. Right, then we're going to look at increasing and increasing again. If you're able to get these questions typed right, these harder percentages, you're going to be able to beat a lot of the children because they will get these ones wrong. They will get tricked by the fact that it's a double increase or a double decrease. Right, so it says a ring costs £40 and it's increased in value by 30% after 1 year. So 30% of 40 is £12. It's increased by £12, so it now costs £52. But then it increased by a further 20% after 2 years. So a further 20%. That means we do 20% of this number, and that's going to be £10.40. 40. So it's increased in the second year by £10.40. So we do the sum, £52 plus £10.40, which will give you £62.40. Okay. Right, those are the things that we're going to do today. If you'd like to buy any of my work packs for the week, or if you'd like any further details, then the email address and website are at the bottom of the link. Thank you.